Hey folks, this is Johnny, and welcome to another Johnny Gimes live streams. That's gonna be hard to get used to. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Today we got Songwriting Simplified, and we are going to just kind of look back in the year in review, just to kind of readdress some of the things that we've talked about and go through some of the things that have happened to you this year. For some, it's been a good year. For some, it's been a bad year, and so on and so forth. For me, overall, it's been a good year. Of course, my mom passed away, and my dad went into assisted living. But overall, it was a pretty decent year, with the biggest disaster losing my main channel, which is why I'm kind of starting over from the ground up. So hopefully I can muddle through this. It has been difficult. It has been really difficult. But overall, I think family-wise and everything else, I think it's been a pretty decent year, especially for what I've been doing with music and teaching people and working with personas on certain things. So it's been really, really cool. So let's see. We got 11 people in here. I wasn't able to put up the ads in all of the groups. So hopefully someone will spread the word that we are actually live right now. So should be cool. Yes, I have decided to try desperately to keep the 6 o'clock spot for the live streams, Monday through Thursday, and then Saturdays at midnight. So that is the goal. Billy Morgan is here. Alps Media is here. Keith Chadwick is here. John A.L. Hawk, Music to Motion. And as I go up the list, John Edgar is here. Billy Morgan, Kyle Jedruziak, Shorty Beard. Good to see you, man. And I think that is... Oh, Harley Bob is here. Good to see you, Harley Bob. We have 12 people in here now. So let's go ahead and see if we can get Johnny Lipsham involved in all of this. There we go. And I changed my mic. Don Oliver just got here. Good to see you, Don. And Johnny Lipsham. Hey, what's up, man?
Hello.
And I got the right mic this time.
You do. I'm was a little caught off guard by that, but that's okay.
There we go. Very cool. Let's see. Kevin's Guitar Stories just came in. He said, about to start my gig, but wanted to say hi to everyone. Well, good luck on your gig, man. I miss gigging. I really do. It's been so long. Oh, man. So how are you doing, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good.
Not bad. It's getting a bit wild outside at the moment. We've got winds gusting up at like 80 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, it's windy out here, but it's like 50 degrees. I'm not quite sure how that happened.
Yeah, it's surprisingly mild here too.
Yeah, so that means we're going to get some good storms. That's what that usually means, because it was like 12 below, and, for like 3 days straight out here. Just unbelievable. I actually took Elvis out for a couple of walks, and he stepped outside for about 3 minutes and started yelping because his paws hurt so bad. I felt so bad, I thought I hurt him. So, yeah, so good to see the warm weather coming back. So, so it's interesting to think about all the things that have happened in 2022. For me, it's been... Hey, there you go. Make sure that's sticking out there. For me, it's been tumultuous at best, and but I think overall a good year, despite losing the channel and my mom and a bunch of other things, not necessarily in that order, of course. But I think overall it wasn't a disastrous year. Just a couple of real bad bumps in the road, but overall, especially for what I've been doing, musically, I've been training and supporting so many people now. Even through the time that I had to cancel the live streams, I was still doing 2 or 3 support calls an afternoon for the expert chat and things like that. So that way, it's been good. That way, it's been good, and I think all of that and doing the live streams kind of kept me from really slipping into a depression with some of the crap that I had going on. But and then that's why I really want to fight to keep the live streams going. I'm hoping I don't have to take a job where it kind of runs over all of this. So that is going to be the goal. Let's see, Karan is here. He says, when using Studio One browser, some of my samples play back at twice the speed, sometimes half speed. Okay, that you have to go to the bottom of the browser and make sure that the tempos sync. There's a little tempo button at the very bottom, and depending on what the tempo of your song is at, if that button is on, it's going to play the sample at that song's speed. Oh man, I got that question a lot when Studio One 5 came out. All my samples are playing at the wrong speed, or I don't know what real speed they're at. So if you go to the bottom of the browser, you'll see it looks like a little tempo. What do they call it?
It's like a metronome icon.
Yeah, thank you. Metronome icon. Make sure that that's off, and then any sample you click on in the browser will play it at its normal speed. That's a great question, too. That's a really good question, too.
Yeah, a lot of people fall foul of that.
Yes.
They either expect the sample that they are, or the loop they are auditioning to play at the same tempo as the song, or they expect it to not do that.
Right.
And it's about 50-50 split, I think, with what people actually expect.
Yeah, it is. And, I get people that actually say it does sometimes and it doesn't others, and nobody thought to look at that. So remember, that setting is unique for the song. So if it's off in the song you just saved, but on in the song that you just opened, it's going to play those different ways when you open those songs. That is not a global setting. Unlike yesterday when we were doing the latency testing and adjusting the device block size, that is a global setting. So any song that you open is going to be set to that device block size. And that is in Studio One. The latency is the device block size. It's called other things and other DAWs. And then people go to look for that somebody told them, and it's like, I don't have that setting. Well, you actually do in Studio One. It's called the device block size. So, but that's the difference between a song setting and a global setting. This is why that if you mix a song with a ton of plugins and you've got the device block size at 2048, the next song that you open, you're going to have a ton of latency, so you have to drop it back down to maybe 128 or 256. But if you don't make that change before you close that song and you open up the song that was mixed into 4096, your CPU is going to go wham because it's trying to process things quicker. So I just wanted to make sure I got a ton of emails. I got like 19 emails on just that subject saying, why does it keep changing? Why do I have so much problem? Why does it work one? And then that usually ended up being the issue there. All right, very cool. We have 19 people in here, and we have 11 likes. Very cool. Please hit that like button. It really, really, really helps. So, Johnny, your 2022, what was yours like?
Mine was pretty good. It's been pretty stressful. A lot of changes are taking place with work and things.
Sure. Yeah.
Because the end of last year we got bought by Fender, so. That's meant that naturally there's going to be a lot of internal changes.
Oh, sure.
Nothing that affects customers, nothing really outwardly as far as the customer is concerned has changed, and nothing is drastically going to change. at all. So for you guys, it's business as usual, but for
Right.
us, it's kind of like, things are
Right.
being reorganized and changed and so on and so forth.
Sure.
So,
You're still in support, right?
for the most part, yeah,
Okay.
we lost our Notion QA guy,
Oh, that
um,
sucks.
earlier in the year. So I've been helping out QA with Notion.
Right.
Now got a new guy. We've got a replacement finally.
That's good.
So so I can kind of relinquish that side of my job a little bit. But yeah, so I'm most of the time in software support.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, things are being things have been reorganized a wee bit, but
Yeah.
so that's been a challenge. Um, but it's actually been a good challenge.
Good.
So and sometimes um change is hard to accept, and sometimes you just have to go, you know what, I'm just gonna have to adapt
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be malleable as a person. And once you just kind of get to that place of acceptance that that's how things are going to be,
Gotcha.
then it's actually much easier to manage. And so that's been my story as far as that's concerned.
Y-
But from my point of view and how I relate to customers, that's just never going to change.
Right.
I love our customers. I think you guys are all freaking awesome.
Oh, absolutely. And change is difficult no matter what it is. Like for us, this was our first Christmas without my mom. So that was,
That's a big change for you.
yeah, that was, and this, I don't know if this is going to sound good or bad. In some ways, it was easier than we expected. Nobody got overly emotional about it, but my brother did an amazing thing. He put a picture of my mom right by the dining room table, and we all kind of said a little bit of something about what we remembered, and it made things go really, 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 really smooth. And I think, and that was I think that was the best thing that we did. We didn't change our traditions despite her not being there. So and because my brother was afraid that without my mom there, me and my family weren't going to want to drive all the way out there for Christmas and stuff like that. And I'm like, what, are you crazy? Do you
Hmm.
think that we would change that now with everything else that's changing? I said, that's absurd. I said, of course we're going to be there. And he was very, very happy about that. All right, let me go up here in the chat. And let's see. Paul Morgan says I'm having a real problem with Studio One 6. I can't seem to get the 16-step drum sequencer to show up. Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm gonna have to see if I can do replicate that. Maybe we can do it on the show today. Let's see. There were a couple of nights in the 30s without the LEDs intent. Okay, not quite. She must be having a conversation with somebody else. Let's see. Music to Motion says I can totally understand what you're saying about things going maybe easier with loss. There can also be some renewals, self-inflection, and life decisions. And I know that Mike has faced very similar things to what I have gone through. So yeah, and you have a tendency to feel guilty if things do go well,
Yeah.
and you're like, did I just insult the person that's passed or anything like that? And in fact, you probably complimented them in a big way. So all right, so let's see, let's kind of continue. So 2022, I really am not caught up on the music industry as such. I
Hmm.
really don't like the Billboard charts anymore. I don't like the music that they're putting in the charts. All of the really good music seems to be lower in the charts or up on YouTube of all things. And I think pop music, popular, it's just my opinion here. Soapbox editorial. I just think it has gotten so awful. Not all of it. Not all of it. I'd say every third song is really, really terrible as far as the charts, because my brother goes through the charts and, he likes a lot of this stuff.
Hmm.
Billy Morgan says it's 70 degrees where he is. Well, we don't like you right now. So there you go. But,
Yeah.
music as a whole has changed. And I think I think now this is just my view on it. I think it changed more after the pandemic than during the pandemic. Just as far as the type of music to come out and some of the stuff that they're allowing on the air and things like that. It's very, very strange right now what I'm hearing. What do you think?
I'm inclined to agree. I mean, see, with the pandemic, um, I kind of thought, there are a couple of different ways in which things could have gone.
Sure.
Because, people and, we have been in various stages and types of lockdowns for most of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And so I kind of thought to myself, people are not going to have necessarily, the kind of access to larger commercial studios than they would have, and therefore they're going to be buying lots of, home studio gear, and that's definitely been the case. I mean, Persona's sales went through the roof. I mean, we sold more gear than we've ever sold.
Yeah.
We broke all kinds of company records the last 2 years in a row. Um, and so that was definitely the case. So I thought, okay, great, everybody's buying gear. This must mean that everybody's at home more, and therefore they're going to have opportunities to be creative more. And I thought that's what would happen. I thought that people would really grab this moment and go, yes, this is my moment. I'm furloughed, I'm not at work, I can finally be in my studio, and I can just go and make music and just seize the moment in that respect. And so I kind of expected that at this end of the pandemic, that we would see a lot of music that has been created during the pandemic come out. And, I thought we'd see a lot of really good new music. And you know what? I'm not entirely convinced that we have, to be honest. I think a lot of people bought up a lot of gear, but then really didn't grab the moment and make the most of it. Which I think is a shame, because something like a pandemic, something that is world shaping, world changing, it really should provide songwriters with a wealth of inspiration for creating music. You've got something to write about. It's a world changing thing that we've gone through the last couple of years, and therefore you'd think, hey, songwriters could just go absolutely nuts because of so much that's gone on that you could write about.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen a whole lot of songs that have actually been about experiences during pandemic and
Yeah,
during
yeah, which is kind of weird.
Mm,
So and I agree with Billy Morgan. There are still good music coming out, but I don't think that the charts and Billboard and things like that are very representative of the good music that's coming out. I think that was more my point than the fact that all the music is crap out there. I did not mean that at all. And just to let the anonymous housewife know is that, yes, I did address Paul Morgan's issue with the 16-step sequencer. I'm going to see if I can do something with that here in a few minutes. I just didn't want to break the subject that we were going with. So getting away from music, I don't have a list, and I wish I was more prepared for this subject tonight. I don't really. Hold on a second. I don't really have a list. 2020. Let's see if I can actually do this really, really quick. All right. Let's see. We lost a lot of good musicians this year, and I was looking for a list. That's in music. LIST. Let's see if we can get a list of music. Okay, so let's see. Please correct me if I'm wrong on any of this information. After all, it is Google, and Google is only 30% right most of the time. Let's see. Loretta Lynn, Meatloaf, Jerry Lee Lewis, Christine McVie, Olivia Newton-John, Gal Costa. I don't know who that is. George Crumb. Ronnie Spector. Wow. And Martha Ewing are in the list that I have here, amongst others who passed away in 2022. You know, it seems like every year you say, well, we're losing all the good musicians. And then the next year comes and another list comes out, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that there were still that many good musicians around last year, when people were passing away and everything. So those are some. Excuse me. Those are some of the people who we lost in music this year.
Hmm.
So there we go with that. And now I can't find the chat. There's the chat. Very cool. Let's see. Bob McGraw has a message. Oh, and he deleted the message. Bob, what are you doing deleting your messages? All right, let's see. We have 31 people here and we have 21 likes. So if you had something good happen to you this year, like with your music or getting your music out there, post it in the chat. And please make sure that you say add Johnny Guy, but just before it so that I can see it, so that it lights up in the little orange box. I saw John Edgar had something good happen for his music. I saw it was a very quick post and it flew by like lightning. Let's see. Music and composition has taken off. I need more time to plan and find it this year. Very cool. That's good to hear. So if anybody else has had a good experience. Let's see. Papa Raptor says perhaps the importance of the charts, such as Billboard, are less relevant due to the different means of distribution. True.
Good point.
Check out some of the alternative charting services. Yeah, I don't really know of any charting services other than Billboard. I'll have to check them out. Jacob says, I sold an EP of original sync music to Warner Brothers Music Publishing. My first big sale. Excellent.
Great.
That had to
Yeah.
feel great. That had to feel great. Come on. See, Kieran, I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Says, I bought an SSL Fusion and SSL Bus Plus. Wow. I think those are controllers, right? The Fusion? SSL Fusion?
Yeah, I think they are. One is an interface, I think, and then the other one is kind of like a control surface. I think.
Gotcha. Anonymous Housewife says, hey, I was stoked and I ended the year with the song written, not mixed, not mastered, written. Hooray. Yes, and I think I played it. It was awesome. Tony Cardona says, you played some of my songs, which sucked, but you were gracious enough to play them. Tony, I don't think any of the songs you sent me sucked. But then again, we all think our stuff stinks. So if you are a true musician, you really don't like anything that you do at first. So I think that that's a normal thing. Shorty Beard says, I finally crossed the 100 subscriber mark on YouTube. Awesome. Sean White Jr. says, I started using Studio One and met all of you that I literally stay up all night with. There you go. Welcome to the band and welcome to the music. You've sent us a couple of really good songs.
I've been talking quite a bit to Sean, which has been very, very nice.
Awesome.
He's a great guy to talk to, and yeah, we have on occasions literally talked through the night. So yeah, he's a great guy.
Very, very cool. All right, let's see. Bob McGraw says, music to motion, your blue monitor doesn't scare me. I don't know what that means. All right, let's see. Ronald Fagora. I almost said Fitzgerald. I don't even know a Ronald Fitzgerald.
What?
I don't know.
You're talking about the Edmund Fitzgerald?
Yeah, that's exactly. It came to mind right away. Let's see. Neil Thompson says, Johnny, you look older today. Are you short on sleep?
I think he's talking to me.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
It's been a busy few days. Because the Persona support has been closed for Christmas, and so I've only been back today.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
just been, yeah, it's been mental catching up with practically a week's worth of tickets. So
Yeah, very cool. Paul Morgan, thank you. He says, yes, I agree that you posting our music on Mondays is the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Thank you so much. Well, the Monday night shows are going nowhere. So those are really good shows. I'm gonna kind of start playing with the time. Some people suggest that I get the show going at like 6:30 to let the people coming home from work go. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do it, but maybe I should do two shows if I get enough submissions. Let's see what else we got here. Nope, that's it. Be the Crown says I am getting ready to release my first book. Working on my first movie and going to produce. Oh, wow. Record and mix and mastering everything in Studio One and using my Persona Studio Live 32. Excellent. I got the Studio Live 24 and I love it. Yeah, you'll like mixing on that. Be the Crown. You really will. Very, very cool. All right, so let's see. Let's go to the Wix, folks. Couple of questions for Johnny Lipsham. This is Rebecca, and she is actually, first off, she says, hi, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
and very Merry Christmas and Happy
Yes.
New Year to you too.
She says, have you learned to play any new instruments in 2022?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
If only I actually had time to do that.
You're right.
See, here's the thing: the reason why I play so many different instruments was because, when I was younger and earlier on in my career, and probably more naive, I kind of had this crazy idea that if I was able to play more instruments, I would have more work. There'd be less opportunity for me to miss out on gigs because, if I'm at a recording date and they say, you know what, we don't need your drum tracks, we're gonna get another drummer in. If I only played drums, I would lose that gig, and I'd not be able to work on that record anymore.
Wow.
But you know, then being at that same recording session, and they say, but you know what, we could really use a bass player. Then that's I could say, yeah, I can do that, and that means I'm still there.
Right.
I'm still doing the work. So that was my theory. Learn a bunch of different instruments and get to be able to play them to a reasonably high standard. Means that I would have regular work on different instruments, and that's definitely been the case. Um, so it has worked for me, but would I really want to, um, add at this stage in my career, add more instruments to that? I'm not really sure that I would really want to do that. I mean, certainly learning to play a different instrument for fun, yeah, sure, but not to necessarily get it up to a professional standard. I'm not sure I really want to do that anymore. But
Gotcha.
yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe that should be a challenge for 2023 is, find an instrument that I've never played before and figure out how to play it.
Excellent. I just posted a link that Lloyd Hansen put in my messenger for an alternate charting service. So please check that out. You'll see it right up there. It looks like Roots Music Report. Roots Music Report. Go ahead and check that out for sure. All right, so let's see. What do we got here? Wow, we have 32 people and we have 24 likes. We're kind of reviewing the last year or so, just to kind of see, what's happened and not only in people's lives, but like in music and things like that. Let's see. So Leon has a question for you. He
Yep.
says, I am very interested in the music theory course you offer. If you could you please post a link to it in the chat so that I can start learning? This is going to be one of my New Year's resolutions.
My music theory course, I can certainly do that.
Please, that would be awesome. Would
Go
be
find it.
awesome.
Let's see. Playlists. Let's open that.
We are.
Let's get
Johnny
back to
is looking for the
our chat.
link.
Where are we? We are there.
All right. Let's see. So, actually, Leon says thank you for taking the time. Very, very cool. Let's see. Lewis over on Wix is asking me a question. He says, Johnny, are you going to release any Studio 1.6 videos soon? Yes. I've got about a third of the series that I have in mind. It's just going to be to the point videos. It's going to be roughly 5 minutes or less. And I am not going to do a whole course. There are tons of courses out there. So I'm just going to take some of the most asked issues and questions, and I'm just going to put together kind of a troubleshooting guide out there, because there's lessons and there's whole video series by Marcus Huskins and Joe Gilder and all of that about all of that. They've got the actual courses nailed out. So I think what I'm going to focus on video-wise is troubleshooting and addressing issues that people are having. I may even revisit the Personas forums and start doing a special feature answering particular questions from the Personas forums. I have a couple people to talk to about that before I do that, but I think I'm going to stick with the troubleshooting on this go round, because there is just so much Studio One content out there as far as courses and learning the different things. But of course, one of the things that you guys can do if you wish, you can always send me an email and ask for a video, and I'll go ahead and I'll put it up on the channel if you guys need something.
I would say on that subject, Johnny, that yes, there is a reasonable amount of Studio 1.6 content out there from different folks like me or Joe or Gregor or Marcus.
Yeah.
Going over, some of the features and functions and everything else. But you know what? They're just from our perspective.
Well, true.
I've done similar videos to videos that Joe has done on Studio 1.6. And I've covered the same features that he's covered. But here's the thing, I've done it my way, and I've shown it how I like to use it. And so and that's the thing, that's what makes it unique. It's not just, when you go to a supermarket, you don't just see one brand of tin spaghetti.
Okay.
There's like 5 or 6 different brands of tin spaghetti on the shelf.
That's true.
It's the same thing. It's still tin spaghetti, but you've got one manufacturer that makes it their way. You've got another manufacturer that makes it a different way. And so it may well be exactly the same thing, but it's going to have a slightly different flavor to it. And I think that's important. Otherwise, everyone would just be like, well, there is obviously only one way to make, spaghetti and put it into a tin. And that's that brand's way of doing it. Well, no. That's why potato chips are made by lots and lots and lots and lots of different companies all around the world. And, you don't just have the one salt and vinegar flavor.
Well, that's true. I get that too. And so, it's been a struggle recovering the channel. And I don't I don't want to I'm so afraid of becoming redundant.
Oh heck no, don't be daft. You're not going to be redundant. Well, seriously.
God, yeah. There are just so many big channels out there.
Well, what?
Peter Brooks is asking, do you know anything about setting up a slave computer in Studio One? I've been asked that question before, hooking up 2 computers at the same time, and I've been involved in a couple of those projects, all of which have really garnered no advantage other than getting one good, powerful computer with a lot of hard drive space. I really don't see the advantage unless, of course, you're doing absolutely huge projects that require 2 or 3 computers. But, I'm not sure. And I personally don't know how to do it. And I definitely don't have the resources here. So, no, unfortunately, I don't have anything about that. I can do a search and see if I can come up with something so you get some information. Alps Media actually agrees with you as far as my channel goes, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate that. I have a lot of things to think about, and it is just a little bit overwhelming at the moment, and I'm real
you just gotta launch out on the offensive rather
yeah,
than kind of being defensive and being cautious. You just
right.
need to go, you know what? I've got a second chance here to you know, the whole thing with what happened with your HST channel should you can probably look at this as being a positive thing because yeah, something was taken away from you, but it's given you the chance to kind of reinvent
Oh,
yourself,
sure,
rebrand
yeah,
yourself, and
yeah.
just kind of blow fresh air into the house.
Absolutely. And I have thought about that. I get more of an accurate number of how many people are watching my channel, and I got a little bit more direct contact. The huge issue for me is financial. And being able to do that and hold down 2 jobs to make up what I lost from the other channel, that's where I'm struggling. And
Hmm.
some people are suggesting that I go out and do more donation drives and stuff like that. And yeah, I could do that, and I may do more of that. But with everything else going on in the world right now, I'm like, is this really worth people donating money to when there are just so many different and maybe I just worry about other people too much. I should start worrying about myself. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I think that's the best thing. You just gave yourself the best advice.
did I?
Yeah, you did, and it's the correct advice. It's what I was going to tell you anyway, which is,
right.
you know, if you start looking at other people and looking at what they do and how they do it, you will feel that big and you will feel inadequate and
yes.
you will want to go, what am I doing? Maybe I'm a fraud after all. I do that whenever I'm in whenever I'm in the same room or the same studio as a piano player by the name of Mark Edwards. He's a very good friend of mine, but the guy is a freaking genius on the piano. He is 1,000 times better than me as a
Right.
piano player. He is phenomenal. And so anytime I see him play piano or listen to him play piano, there are two things I could do. There are two responses I could do. I could go, I'm never going to be that good.
I'm
I'm
just gonna sell
inadequate.
my piano. That's it.
Exactly. I may as well chop up my piano and turn it into firewood, especially when there's a cost of living crisis going on. Maybe that would, save my heating bills for a couple of months.
Sure.
But is that really the best response? No. I
no.
think the best
No.
response is to go, wow, he is fantastic. He is really, really good. And I should just enjoy what he does and you know, immerse myself in what he creates and just go, wow, this is amazing.
Oh,
This is
sure.
fantastic. And
Sure.
just really enjoy what he does and respect what he does and go, I'm not him. I'm not Mark
Right.
Edwards.
Right.
I will never be Mark Edwards. I am me. When I sit down and play the piano, I am me. I don't play the way he does. And if I try and play the way he does, if I try and create music the way that he does, it's not going to sound
Yeah.
right and people are not going to enjoy it.
Oh yeah. And
What
and
is me?
and I think that my biggest struggle, if I didn't have to worry about the financial part, it would be just easy to continue because that is how I started the channel in the first place. I was just doing videos. I didn't care about money, or I didn't need to care about money being made and everything like that. The unfortunate part is that I got so set in the income that I was getting, and then of course situations what made that income a necessity. Now, unfortunately, I'm kind of blocked. I'm like mentally blocked because if I don't make money with the channel, I'm going to have to find other means, and that's going to take time away from putting out my best. And I'm going to tell you guys, the whole money situation really kills your creativity. And you know what? Just it goes the same way with songwriting. The minute you start songwriting, writing your songs to, to make money, and you want to depend on that income, it changes your whole outlook and moving forward with what you love to do. And I think that's really my mental block right now as far as deciding what I want to do because of that loss. And it kills me every time I think about not being able to do the live streams because I'm going to have to do something else to make up for the income that I lost. And I think that was probably one of my mistakes. I relied on that income from that channel more than I should have. So now starting over is harder because I don't have any more resources. I can't do
Well,
anything new.
I think the approach therefore to take is actually go back to what got you started in the first place. You
Sure.
got started making videos and teaching people about Studio One because you love it.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Do
Absolutely.
it for that reason alone.
Oh, yeah.
I know money is tough, and I know that finances are hard for you. I totally understand that, and but I think what I would say is make the new Johnny Guy channel about having fun
Yes.
and about creating regardless and teaching people regardless whether people pay you or not, whether
Oh,
YouTube
yeah.
monetizes your channel or not, whether people donate to you or not. Make this about having fun, and it's a creative outlet for you, and it's a way for you to engage with the world, and another way for you to engage with Persona's customers.
Right.
Make that the focus and let the kind of the money side of it take care of itself,
Yes,
because
I do honestly try to do that. I do honestly try to do that. And actually, this is what made 2022 so difficult was that one point. And I hate the fact that money would stop me from doing what I love doing the videos, doing the live streams, and that's one of my biggest struggles. I may have no choice, and that's what I'm fighting right now. I want to get back to just, because the live streams for me, like these shows right here, they're such therapy for me. And you guys notice that even though I had to cancel some shows during the struggle with my folks, I still came back and did them a couple of days later. So most people would have taken a month off or something just like that. So, all right. So let's get past that. I do appreciate everybody's comments, and there's some really awesome comments above. Let's see, from Jacob and Alps Media and everything like that. Thank you guys, Tony Cardona also especially, and I do appreciate that. Thank you guys for for understanding, and just know that I am trying to move forward. It's not easy, but I am
no,
trying
it's not.
to. Yeah.
It's not. But the thing to realize is you've built by yourself a community of people that work for each other and serve
Yes.
each other, and
That much I am totally proud of. I love the group that has, all come together, with all of this. So,
and that's the thing to focus on, and let everything else take care of itself. And you're gonna have to have some faith. You're gonna have to trust. You're gonna have to plunge yourself into the unknown. And it means you might, for a wee while, have to be a little bit more creative about how you put your content out and when you put your content out.
yes, exactly.
But it's not impossible.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just the time. I want to make sure that I do things in a non-rushed, kind of, like I used to. So it's very
I
cool.
mean, I just think 2023 is going to be an outstanding year for you.
Oh, I hope so.
I really do.
Yes,
really
I hope
think
so.
it's gonna be.
Yeah. All right, let me address a question here really quick. There was a question about the 16 bars.
Oh, the pattern editor. Yeah.
Yeah, the pattern editor. So let me actually see now. If somebody could let me know who asked that question. I don't remember who asked the question. So let me actually do this
Yeah, that was a while
here.
back.
Yeah, if somebody could remind me who asked the question, I think the anonymous housewife remembers who asked the question. I just want to make sure that I address
She
it.
remembers most things. She's amazing. So
Yeah, she's she's got a memory I only wish I had. All right, let's see here. So if I go here, so in the pattern editor, he was having trouble getting
getting it to appear.
Okay, so let's do this. We need an instrument track. And I need a drum. Just going to choose anything here. The 60s a go-go. And we're going to go to the editor. And
It's Paul Morgan.
Paul Morgan. Okay.
My fellow Scot.
Thank you. All right, so let me close this here. So in the pattern editor, so I can, let's see, I need to make an event. And let's see, how do I get to the pattern editor? I need to convert the part to a pattern. So let me do this. Let's see. So, or do I need that? I'm not sure I need that actually. So let's see. Here is the pattern editor. No, that's step record. Where is the pattern editor?
That's no editor you're looking at. Yeah.
Okay, this isn't the pattern editor.
No, that's just the regular note editor.
Right. So where is?
So you have to convert the
that's what
part
I thought.
to a pattern.
That's right. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this.
Yeah, it's not done. You actually have to do it with the you have to create an event.
Okay, there's an event. And of course, now my mixer, I don't think, is working. All right, so I'm not sure what's happening here. So I'm actually going to remove that in the instrument. I am going to go like this.
Or you can, on a Mac, I think it's Command P on a Mac. Or is that
for some reason I am not?
Oh no, sorry. Command Shift P, I think.
Yeah, for some reason I am not getting any audio. So I am getting nothing here, and I've got this triggering, but none of these pads are lighting up. So I think what I need to do, and so here's another problem.
You've got no I/O set up on the main out, have you?
Yeah, I should have. So let's see. Here's a new HSD template, and let's bring this in and choose a drum kit. Nope, it is not working, and I do have MIDI signal. I have MIDI signal here, but none of these are triggering. Okay. So then I need to actually close Studio One and see what's going on. This is interesting. Let's try this again. Leon over at Wix says, I love it when you struggle like this because I learn so much. Thank you.
This is how we calmly, quietly solve a problem. We work a problem. This is how we do it, folks.
This is how we do it. All right, so we got an audio issue here. I have to restart Studio One, and I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. Yeah, my Mac Mini's only got 8 gig of RAM, so let's go with new. Got the nice little bouncing wheel. All right, I'm actually going to go with the default template. Maybe it's my template. Record a new Studio One song. All right, so now let's go with instruments. Let's go with impact. Nope. Let's go with a different preset. Nope. Nothing. Nothing's even triggering. Okay, this might be something I'm going to
Is
have
that with your keyboard or with the add-on?
everything, and nothing is working.
Yeah, check your I/O settings and
Yeah, I know the I/O settings are good. So let's do this. Wonder what's going on here. So let's check my interface. Now, see, I messed around with the interface yesterday with the sample rates and stuff. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open a new song, and I'm going to go, this is the template I use all the time, either that or this one. So let's see if I do an audio track. Check 1, 2. Nope, nothing's working. And I got all my inputs. All right, so I got a major problem. I think it's the mixer. Yeah.
Have you tried power cycling the mixer?
Yes, but it'll shut down the show, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, so all right, so I'm going to have to address this tomorrow. So those of you that are actually here tonight, and Paul Morgan, I really want to answer the question, but I can't get any audio to actually do any kind of a decent test on what you're experiencing, other than if I do this and I bring this in and I don't record anything.
Maybe I can help out here.
Okay, so if I create this, and now I want to make this a pattern. So this would be under, let's see, insert. Oh, here's insert pattern. Okay.
Yeah, I think what you want to do is you want to convert part to pattern.
All right, so here's the pattern mode. Just like this. Oh, yeah, I can't even hit play. Nothing's working at all. All right, so I've got 16 here.
16 steps, yeah.
Yeah, 16 steps. So if I change, no, I don't want to change that. That's the wrong thing that I did. So if, okay, so that doesn't do anything. How do you get more steps?
More steps
is... Here it is. So here I've got 8. So if I go steps here, I've got 24 steps. So what Paul Morgan was saying, is that he couldn't get the 16 steps to show. There's the 16. So I suppose if you have it expanded too much so that you can see stuff, you're not going to see the 16. So then you can actually bring the view. This is actually called the data zoom. But if it's extended that way, you should be able to move this over to C16. Oh, that's the view he says he can't seem to find. So it's not the 16 steps so much as it is the pattern editor.
Yeah, and the way to do that is you create a part, an instrument part.
Okay, let me actually do this as you walk through it.
And then you right-click that and you go convert part to pattern.
Okay, so you bring in your instrument, it creates a track, you open up your kit. Now you have to create an event. So now if I right-click and I choose insert pattern.
You can do insert pattern, yep.
Yep, so there we go. Now this is something separate. So let me actually go back. Watch this. So if I just right-click here, can I insert a pattern? No, you can't do it that way. So you have to have an event.
Yep.
You have to have an event, and then you right-click and you say insert pattern. Now we have a pattern. But now we have a pattern and an event. Look at that. See, they're both different, so I can delete.
Yeah, the insert pattern will just basically insert a pattern wherever your cursor is located. But if you convert the parts to a pattern, then it doesn't create the extra event in the track.
Right. All right, let me do this. Let me actually go back. All right, so I've got my kit and I've got my MIDI track. And let's see, so is there an option up here where I can insert a pattern, or do I have to have an event?
You need to have an event first.
All right, so this is a part. So if I right click and I say event,
Convert part to pattern.
crop to contents, I don't see convert. It's not in this menu, so it's in the instrument parts. Convert part to pattern. Boom. There we go. All right. So Paul, I hope that this asked the question or answered the question. You asked the question. I hope this answered the question. So you actually have to start with an event. And when you start with an event, it actually makes a part, just a regular MIDI part. You can either use the drum mode or the keyboard mode. But if you want to use the pattern editor, you have to right click and you go to instrument parts and you say convert part to pattern. Boom, just like that. And you can create your pattern that way. So now if you want to go back to an instrument part, you can right click again, go to go to instrument parts, and you can say, now I thought there was a convert pattern to part. Now you're back to the regular MIDI.
Yep, that's exactly how you do it.
So, convert part to pattern, convert pattern to part, just like that. But remember, it's going to be in the instrument parts menu.
Yep.
Just like that. All right, so Paul says, yes, I think they must have changed how I usually work. Thanks. I don't think that that's ever changed.
I think that's been the same since Studio 1.5.
Yeah. I don't think that that's ever been different. I'm wondering if there was a button. Was there a button before where you could change?
No, I don't think there was, but you could probably create a macro that will
Sure.
in a string, maybe.
Yeah, sure you
because
could.
it's effectively a 3-step process.
Right.
You could
Insert your instrument, create an event, and then the event automatically creates a part, and then you convert part to pattern.
Yes, so you'd want that in one macro.
Yeah. I wonder if how that would work. Let me actually go to another. Here's a global. I'm going to go here. Here's a button, and I'm going to assign a command and see if there is. There it is. You can make a button, convert part to pattern.
There you go. And then you can create
There it
the
is. There it is. So now I just click on the event and boom. And if I click on it again, no, it won't go back. So now I need another button.
You need another button that does the opposite.
Right, there's a new button. Go to assign. And go say convert pattern to part. There we go. So now I can go both ways with this. Look at that. Bam, bam, bam.
There you go.
Look at that. So, Paul, did you see all that? You can do the right click and go back and forth. Or you can create a button on your macro toolbar and go back and forth.
Yep.
That is cool. John Edgar. Johnny needs some business partners to buy into turning his operation into a business. Yeah, I tried that with David Vignola and that fell apart. So I'm a little gun shy on that. So Paul Morgan, what do you think? Yes, I've never had to do any of that before, though. It is weird. So was it different in Studio 1.5? Is that what you're saying,
Yeah,
Paul?
not that I can recall.
Because I'd like to know how you did it in Studio 1.5.
Mm.
Because I think that the right-click thing has always been there.
Yep.
Because you can't just drag in a pattern. You have to convert the part to a pattern. Oh, there we go. There is a video post from Truckee saying, here is a good video refresher on part to pattern. Wonder who's doing that one. Because I know I don't have it. All right.
No, but there you go. You see that right there is a video you could make.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'd be really kind of curious as to how Paul was doing it. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's Gregor's video.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's Gregor's video. Paul Morgan says, I had a way of working where it was simply a pattern. I didn't need to convert part to pattern. I would really love to know what that was because I don't think that's ever been an option that I knew of. Not saying you're wrong, Paul. I'm just saying it's not something I knew was there. All right, very cool. I think that's going to do it for us for tonight, folks. Johnny, thank you so much for the kind words and for the little bit of a music in review, or not music, but Songwriting Simplified in review. It was a tough year. Good, but tough, I think, in many ways for a lot of us. And I think we made some good points here. And again, I appreciate everybody's support. So I hope you guys were good with the subject matter tonight. 31 people. How many likes did we get? We got...
It's pretty much 100% views to likes.
Yep. We got 30 views and 30 likes. No, Paul. Geez, he says, sorry, it was a bad question. No, Paul, these are the questions we like to answer. This is what I do and why I'm more interested in troubleshooting than, doing a, doing a whole, a whole class or something on Studio One. I'm more interested in the problems that people have, and at the same time, creating a playlist of Studio One and things like that. There's a lot of stuff out there that I can do. I got a lot of thinking that I got to do here for next year and stuff. I'm hoping that if you guys look at the title there in the upper left corner, it's Johnny Gibe's live streams now. And that's what I plan on doing going forward, unless I find a better idea. So please send those ideas to the email address you see below. Neil Thompson says, a tough year for a lot of people, but an amazing year for music submissions for the Subscriber Music Hour. Well, thank you for that. Very cool. Very cool. Like the old commercial used to say, never let them see you sweat. Yes, exactly.
Exactly right.
Yes, exactly. Right. And in my case, I'm glad sweat is clear so you guys don't see it. So anyway, there you go, Johnny. Thank you again for all of your thoughts and your experience.
You're welcome. Just to make sure everybody knows, on New Year's Eve, I'll be doing my Hogmanay special show at 7 p.m. Central.
Ah, cool. That's going to be late for you.
That'll be 1 a.m., but that's because I want to be able to see in the new year with my family because, for
Makes
you,
sense. Makes sense.
It's going to be 7 in the evening on New Year's Eve. For me, it'll be 1 o'clock in the morning, January 1st, 2023. So I will be in the future. So I'll be able to
You'll be in the future. Yes, let us know how it is and let us know if there's an escape route.
So yeah, come along to my channel, 7 p.m. Central for a Hogmanay special. It's basically just going to be a party. And if you're not sure what Hogmanay is, it's basically what we call New Year's Eve here in Scotland.
Ah.
So yeah, that's what we call it. We call it Hogmanay.
Okay, future boy. Says Johnny L. Hawk.
Be there, it'd be cool, and I'll be taking your Studio One questions as usual, in lieu of Sunday Night Live. So this will be a replacement for Sunday Night Live, for New Year's Eve. and it would just be a chance for us to party and let our hair down and see you in the new year.
Yeah, let our
I'm
hair
sure
down.
there will be alcoholic beverages that I will be consuming.
Very
So if you
cool.
want to see me slur my speech and tell you how much I love you,
Yeah.
and
And make sure you invite Stuart. We haven't seen him for a long time. So make sure you invite him.
yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Okay, that
I'll
sounds
see
good.
what persuasive powers I can have.
Okay, sounds good. All right, say goodbye to the folks. As only Johnny.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, that works. All right, Johnny, take care.
Good night, everybody.
Good-
Cheers, Johnny boy.
Thanks, man. And Johnny has left the building. Elvis is still here. He's on the floor sleeping. All right, that sounds good. Let me see if I can get back to this. And thank you guys for the awesome suggestions and for the positive thoughts moving forward. Let's see. Music to Motion says, hope you have time to pop into the Zoom. So far, my boss hasn't called, so I'll definitely make an effort to get there. And John A.L. Huck says, good night. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for your understanding on the situations that we have going on here. And these will be my last few words. These will be my last few words later.
Is Studio One filled with mysteries in your mind? Well, we can help unlock those mysteries on Saturday nights at midnight. Join us for the HST Home Studio Trainer Midnight Livestream as we investigate and solve as many mysteries as possible. HST Home Studio Trainer, helping each other make music together.